when it comes to remedies, this is so important because at the end of the day, when somebody is found not right or breach of contract, like this, there must be a way to help each other. I mean, like, to get yourself out of the situation, or get your fair share of punishment, and then the other party must felt like it's fair. That is in the spirit of a fair and just contract. So remedies is actually very important. So remedies is actually to, if the contract are not being performed, and then the tender performance under the contract are not being carried out, so there will be a breach, and then the innocent party needs to be helped lah, in that way lah, or the innocent party needs to find a way out. The innocent party needs to have the situation made better for him or her lah, because it's not, or for their company, because it's not their fault actually. So there is a few ways, it's 4 ways basically. So there will be damages, specific performance, injunction, and rescission of the contract. So these are the 4 methods to improve the situation. Okay. So rescission of the contract basically means that you have to accept that both parties will say, okay, it's terminated. There's mutual consent agreement that this is over. Okay. And damages is another one. So in the law of Malaysia, especially damages, if let's say the contractor did not perform within the time period, so he has to pay for damages, and that damages is what we call a liquidated accident damage. And this liquidated accident damage is that you counted the damages into dollars and cents, and the contractor will have to pay for the time loss that the client actually suffered. So this is part of a compensation, a compensation that is being granted to the innocent party, or the party who has not done wrong, and by the party who has actually breached the contract. So that particular person suffer because of the breach of contract. And of course this damages has to be agreed, meaning that when you said liquidated accident damage, it's already been in the contract, it's already there in the first day, that if you do not perform like this, you're going to be penalized based on this amount, you see. So this is actually being expressed, it's properly expressed and agreed, you see, and therefore it is binding. It's actually a law binding thing. Okay. And it can also be a compensation. If you go to court, it can be as a compensation that is awarded by the court, and then the losing party has to pay, you see, to the winning party. And that is when you decide, or when you go to dispute resolution, there will be somebody who is actually going to win the case, somebody who is going to lose the case, so that the damages will always be in the picture. Okay. Right, so go read through this. When 2 parties have made a contract which one of them has broken, the damage to the other party will, they ought to receive with respect to that contract. But it must be fair, it must be reasonable, it must be agreed previously as well. If somebody breach it, this is how you're going to be punished, for example. And yeah. And classification of damages, so there will be general damages, special damages, nominal damages, substantial damages. Liquidated damage is something that we will see a lot in our contracting issues. So there's unliquidated damages, exemplary damages. So these are the different type of damages that is actually being put forward. So some of them is actually with action, meaning that you have to repair, you have to come back and do it, Some of it is more in monetary terms. Not everything is in monetary terms. Some of it can be in service, for example. Okay. Sorry. In terms of services, it's more on specific performance. Okay. And specific performance is like you have to actually put forward the okay, let me get this right. The order of specific performance is a court order compelling someone to perform. Yes. So this is like if you're being asked to repair. Okay, so this is a very specific performance. Okay, whereas damages, it can be a services that you do repair work and all that you cannot charge because you're doing that repair work. So those are under damages, but specific performance is like you are required to perform like very specifically, meaning that let me think of an example. So for example, if you are if let's say there is a time delay, so under the contract, specific performance is you must carry out the other part of the job as soon as possible, for example. So that would be specific performance. So if certain things are, like let's say maybe I'll give you a more technical kind of example, which I've seen a lot recently, meaning that you're doing the piling work, and then you're supposed to pile how many piles, but then end up you did some of the piles Bangkok, like shifted place. So what you need to do is specific performance will be, it doesn't have to be ordered by court, but specific performance is you must go back and maybe you must propose how to enlarge, maybe pile another one pile, or enlarge the pile cap, so those are actually specific performance. These are like work that you need to do in order to improve the situation. Okay. Injunction means that you are asked not to, you are barred from coming in, you are barred from taking anything off the site, you are barred from a lot of things that is happening. Something happens, so that means the contractor is being barred from doing certain things, okay, or coming in to continue the job. You're not supposed to come to the site, you're not supposed to take anything out. So these are injunctions. Injunctions are actually granted by court. Okay, so it's very specific. It's a relief for the contract. It's a relief for the client especially. Okay, even documents can go through injunctions. Work can go through injunctions. There's a lot of things that can have specific injunctions. Okay, so there's different type of injunctions that you can go through it. Some of it is marijuana, some of it is antempila, this ANFER injunction. So read through that. I think it's very understandable. Some of it is dealing with property, some of it is dealing with documents, some of it is dealing with actions. Injunctions can be like you're ordered to stay away from somebody. Those are injunctions also, because your life is being threatened. Okay, so these are very specific remedies. Okay, that is happening with if there's a breach in contract, if somebody is not performing, it's not somebody is not doing their job. So these are specific injunctions. Okay, so with that, I think we really have properly understood what is the different elements within a contract, and all these elements will be properly written in proper English and all that in the contract. Or if you don't have a specific written contract, then you will use standard form of contract, and they call it general conditions of contract. Okay, so we'll talk about that.